Hello! Today I'm talking about digestion. I don't know why I haven't made a video on this yet because a lot of people have digestive issues. So number one, I would recommend actually getting a diagnosis. Gastroenterologists generally don't make good recommendations. However, they can diagnose. By going to a gastroenterologist, I learned that I had diverticulitis, gastroparesis, slow transit colon, true celiac. All of these things I learned by actually doing the tests. Some of them are not fun to do, especially the slow transit colon. The whole point is to see how slow something moves through your system. I was literally there all day. They couldn't even do the full test because it took so long. But it goes to show that I had an issue. So when you have digestive issues, there could be so many variables. I have worked with people where I made recommendations. So this is one example. I made a recommendation and she just couldn't make progress. And this is someone who wanted to gain weight. And in the end, she really needed a surgical procedure. She had a severe stomach ulcer, and this is the reason for her pain. So she didn't have that diagnosis yet because she was strongly against going to doctors. But she ended up going, and it really saved her life. And then she was able to take my recommendations and go far with them. So I'm just saying it might be worth it to go see a traditional medicine doctor, get a recommendation for a gastroenterologist. They can be helpful for that. Now, the recommendations that they made for me for so many issues, and it's funny because their nutrition food recommendations will be across the board, like different. Like I had multiple different people give me recommendations to eat popcorn, rice cakes, toast when I had CDiff, and then I had other people tell me to eat a bunch of vegetables and just off the wall things. Like, where are you pulling this out of? Like, doesn't make sense to me. So I would not advise to follow their nutrition advice. They don't go to school for nutrition. So on digestive issues, I'm gonna kind of move into a more carnivore side of things and talk about myself for a moment. Like I said, I was diagnosed with diverticulitis, gastroparesis, I don't think I mentioned that one, slow transit colon, ulcerative colitis eventually I developed, which was really painful, true celiac, and these things impacted me greatly. I actually had digestive issues for almost my whole life. I can remember being a young child, I would get constipated a lot. Every time I ate food, I felt uncomfortable, and I didn't say anything. I just didn't think I was supposed to talk about it. I didn't know I was supposed to. No one asked. So it would be weird to bring it up, right? It was for me. So I went a long time, and then I finally saw the gastroenterologist, and they pointed out all these things, and so that was helpful. With diverticulitis, it's a totally different ballpark, and with gastroparesis, it's a totally different angle that I'm going to take if I'm helping someone. So for gastroparesis, it is really strongly correlated with blood sugar. Blood sugar stabilization, tonifying the vagus nerve, those are my two big weapons when I'm helping someone with gastroparesis. And I do have a post on that somewhere on my Instagram, how the two are so intimately connected. Ulcerative colitis is a totally different thing, and it's going to be a different approach for every person. But removing anti-nutrients is huge. Healing the gut is huge. I just made a video on healing the gut, so I would recommend all of those things all over again for anyone, literally anyone, because when you heal and seal the gut, obviously your digestion is going to start working. You have to eat enough protein. This is something that I didn't connect the dots for a long time, but those nutrients and amino acids and protein play major roles in digestion. Never thought about that before. When you think digestion, you're going to think, oh, maybe L-glutamine, maybe some collagen, bone broth, but actual protein, those amino acids, we need enough protein. And so removing fiber, removing plants, removing anti-nutrients, and switching to an animal-based way of eating could be huge for someone. It is a really great elimination diet, especially if you do it without dairy, which could also cause digestive issues. So when you're removing all those things, you get to start at square one, and then you can slowly reintroduce things. What you can expect removing fiber, if you're transitioning into carnivore, to heal your digestion, you can expect either constipation or diarrhea. Basically, your colon is a muscle. And so when you're removing fiber, it changes the way that this muscle contracts and works. Sometimes it gets lazy and it just lets everything through. That would be diarrhea. Sometimes it gets lazy and everything is just stuck. It really is different, and it's probably 50-50 for people that I've worked with in my experience. I've had both. I've definitely had more diarrhea when I had the CDiff, but I've had more constipation with carnivore transitions. If you are constipated, then I would recommend play around with your electrolytes, make sure that you're hydrated, try increasing your fat if that's an option for you. You could also play around with glycine, gelatin. Those things can stimulate digestion, like my gummies made with gelatin. I almost always have a bowel movement when I eat those because of the gelatin. So that's another thing that can help digestion. So there are lots of things. And then you also want to take a really good look, no matter who you are, if you're having digestive issues, take a good look at stress in your life. Stress or poor sleep will leave you with feeling like you have a brick in your stomach. I remember the nights that I didn't sleep, the years of nights that I didn't sleep. Many mornings I would have an actual lump in my stomach. It was like I swallowed a brick. I felt like a snake. It was a lump. Like you could see it, you could feel it. It was hard, it was uncomfortable, and that always happened when I didn't sleep, and so it was a lot of the time. So sleep, managing stress, those are huge as well. And if you are wondering about digestive enzymes, that is something that I recommend. If someone tells me right out the gate that they struggle to digest meat, then I would say you might want to consider some hydrochloric acid. There is a supplement by BioOptimizers. I am affiliated with them, but I rarely mention this supplement because it's pricey. But it contains 3 times the amount of digestive enzymes than any other digestive supplement on the market. Literally, it's the best. I used to take this when I was going to eat a big meal. It really makes a difference. That is called Masszymes. It's called Masszymes. And I will link my discount code in the description. And I will put it here when I figure it out. So that's a good one. But if you don't want to buy that, then you could just literally just get the Doctor's Best, betaine, HCI, hydrochloric acid. Those are really helpful. Sometimes bitters can be helpful, like taking dandelion tea can help to stimulate bile in your liver. That's also low oxalate. So you also want to think about, is it protein or is it fat that you're struggling to digest, or is it both? And you can really figure that out by sharing your symptoms. If you're having diarrhea, if you're having floating stools, that's probably a bile issue. You're not digesting fat. Could be too much rendered fat in your diet. Rendered is liquefied fat. So if you're pouring the grease from your burger on your plate and you're drinking it, we're not designed to drink fat. Essentially, that fat is entering your gallbladder at a rate that your liver can't produce enough bile to break it down. So I do not consume rendered fat. Definitely, I would experiment with eating raw fat, like frozen cold butter, or raw suet. Keep it in the freezer and just eat little hunks of it like that. If you feel like you struggle to digest protein, you might experience feeling really tired after you're eating, or getting really cold. That's all the blood rushing to your stomach. To some degree, that's normal, but if you feel it severely, or if you're having hypoglycemia in response to the protein that you're eating, that tells me that maybe you're eating too much protein or you're struggling to digest it. Some good news is that what we eat dictates our microbiome, and it also dictates what our body adapts to and learns to digest. So if you eat carbs, if you eat sugar, if you eat a certain amount of fat, your body adapts to that, and it creates the enzymes to digest it. So as you transition to a more animal-based lifestyle, or eating more meat or eating more fat, it will improve as you continue to heal. Because remember, that protein that you're eating is bioavailable, and it literally is the foundation of healing your digestion. So even if you're struggling to eat the protein, remember that it's your medicine. And that protein in itself is going to play a major role in healing your digestion. The fat, the animal fat, it is so much better than plant fat, so much better than coconut oil, whatever it is. Animal fats have all the vitamins that you need to heal and seal your gut, vitamins and nutrients. So remember, if you're struggling to digest animal foods, please don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Those foods are medicine, so you are healing your digestion, and it should improve. If it doesn't improve, then I would recommend reaching out to someone. There are so many different coaches out there in this carnivore community. It's honestly so many different people, but it's worth it to figure it out. Normal digestion, I think, is something that a lot of people don't have, and they don't talk about it. Bloating is not normal. You shouldn't be bloating unless you're drinking like 5 electrolyte slushies like I do. Then you can expect some bloating, but that's just liquid. But eating meat when you're bloating after every meal, that's not normal. Gassiness is not normal. Cramping, not normal. So hopefully this video was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them below and I will try to troubleshoot with you. I could make other videos, so if you have any other video suggestions, please leave them below.